as the 2024 AFLW season is about to begin. It's time to celebrate what's going to be the best season to date. Last year, Brisbane won the big one against North Melbourne in a thrilling contest. But this year, the race is wide open. Will we see the Brisbane Lions go back-to-back? Or will we see a new team race a cup at the end of the season? Will we see a side like the Saints go from out of the 8 to winning the big one? Patrikios, Watson, Xenos, Wardlaw, Vesely and Smith will have something to say. Or will it be North Melbourne, a side filled with stars from experience? Two young guns, Garner, Birch, Ferguson, Gatt, Tripodi, Eddie, Martin and O'Shea. Or is it the Demons? 5 experienced players go out, but young stars like Bassano, Witherspoon and co will have an impact. And of course, star trio Horse, Zanker and Mithun have something to say about this year's flag race after last year's disappointment. Can the young dogs rise up to the occasion? New coach, new players, new leaders. Sometimes change comes in a good way. Blackburn gets some support in the team via young stars Greg Butterfint and Chrissy Lee Turner. And new recruits ready to prove a point in Smith, Arends and McKee. Or can a team filled with young stars at Port Adelaide who dominated this year's draft, bringing in Young, Goody, Window, Brooke and Brooksby, surprise us all? Stars in this competition galore, headlined, just to name a few, Conti, Garner, Marinoff, Gardner, Toogood, the Prosparka sisters, Malloy, O'Driscoll, Patrikios and Dawes. We can't also forget the future of this competition. Loz Young, Charlie Rowbottom, Sinead Goody, Ella Roberts, Charlie Thomas, Brenna Tarrant, Sophia Hurley, Alicia Pisano, Elaine Grigg, Ali Morford, Holly Cooper, Ali Dalloway, Ella Heads, Matilda Schultz, and of course last year's Rising Star winner, Zali Goldsworthy. So many talented players ready to have insane seasons. I know I'm excited. Are you? Welcome to season 2024 of the AFLW. Let's go!
Let's go! We always stand for victory. The joy and better of the world. Relax and go. Go Lions, it's Lions. Don't kick the winning score. Go in the mud roll.
Hello everyone and welcome to the SCOOPS AFLW show, Season 2, Episode 2. I'm your host Cooper, the sole admin of AFL information, trade rumours and results. And well, round 1 is done and dusted and we had some big losses for some sides. We had some upsets and we had some close games, and we're going through all that and more today on the show. I got the world famous segment Scoops Goes Bang, one topic to bang on about that really annoys me. Going to go through my Scoops AFLW Round 1 Team of the Week, my AFLW Fantasy Team Reveal and how I went, and what trades I may do this week. I'm still pondering, as of this recording, whether I actually say what trades I'm doing. I'm going to go through my Team of the Week. Now, the Scoops AFLW medal, we run just like the men's one. It'll be done after the last game of the home and away season, so I won't read a single vote throughout each episode. So that's what I will do. But yeah, we'll start off with this. You want me on Cameo? Head to cameo.com/Cooper G. Want me to roast a friend, wish someone happy birthday, anything at all? Cameo.com/Cooper G. And if you know any AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees, or any state league players like VFLW, Waffle W, Sample W, VFL Waffle or Sample, and you would like to see them on the podcast in a Gold King Challenge or an interview, please send me a message and we'll try and get something sorted. I love doing interviews and Gold King Challenges for everyone that I've had on and continue to have on. So if you know anyone or you are someone that plays in those leagues and you would love to be on for an interview and or Gold King Challenge, could be both, please send me a message or try and get something sorted. Alrighty. Let's now go through the world famous segment, Scoops Goes Bang. Boom. Well, this is one topic I want to bang on about today. And it's the quarter lengths and the time and the stoppages and like with the clock still running and everything like that. It's 17-minute quarters. Number one, it should be 20-minute quarters, right? It should be like how the men's time length is and season length for that matter. That's what I feel like it should be, okay? What I don't like about it is that the clock continues to go when it's a ball up, a stoppage in play and everything like that. And speaking to some players throughout the last few weeks and months, they are unsure themselves how it's meant to be run sometimes. The clarity from the AFL competition to the players is not there. Like 17-minute quarters, we know that. But like with the time on and all this stuff, they're talking to some players recently, as I said, it's a bit confusing, to say the least. And, what constitutes the time to be stopped? After a goal, I've noticed through watching all the games on the weekend that the clock does stop after goals. But the clock doesn't stop during play for a throw-in or for a ball up or anything like that. And I find it really confusing that sometimes I thought it was the last 5 minutes it does it. But then there was a play like 3 minutes to go in a quarter, and the clock was still going after a ball up or something, or an out of bounds. I'm thinking, why is this clock not stopping? Like, they do this at state league level in the VFLW and WAFLW, and they shouldn't be doing it like that. The clock should stop. It gives people the chance to fake injuries or to waste time. I mean, it's within the rules to do so, but that rule should not be there. Every AFLW player I've spoken to, state league player that has that same rule, they don't like it either, pretty much. And AFLW should not be doing that either. The clock should stop. If you're going to keep the same quarter length at 17 minutes, fine, but do not have the clock continue to run when the ball is out of bounds or it's a ball up. Like, you just invent time wasting, and you shouldn't be allowing that possibility to happen. It's cost teams games, I've noticed in the state leagues before. And if it costs teams in the AFLW, those teams won't be happy, and they have a right to be very annoyed. But I'm annoyed that it's a rule that can be exploited. To the competition that has the people that make that decision, to the people that make that decision, lift your game. Like, come on. Time shouldn't stop at ball ups, out of bounces, and obviously after goals. But not at certain parts of quarters. The whole quarter, the whole 4 quarters, the whole game. It really annoys me to see that happen. And there was a few close games on the weekend. The Eagles game, the Geelong-Melbourne game. So that's 2 examples right there. The clock should stop for ball ups and out of bounds. So lift your game, AFLW competition for that. For the people in the charge, that is. Lift your game. Pathetic. Come on. Do better. Now, all right. So that Scoops Goes Bang for this week. All righty. Now, let's now go through here we go. For the first time in season 2 of the AFLW show, my Scoops Round 1 AFLW Team of the Week. Now, I want to stress enough that the AFLW competition do best 21s. And I was contemplating whether I do it how it should be and be best 23. But I've gone ahead with how the competition does it. Again, that's another thing that they should do. Should be 23 on the field. So 2 extra players to what they play with. They have 5 backs and 5 forwards. It should be 6 forwards and 6 defenders. I've had a mixed response when I ask players this, and some would like it, some don't mind it how it is, some definitely don't want it, as of right now at least. But I feel like it shouldn't be there. It's really interesting, for that. So anyway, I was just going to put it on the screen. Silly me, I got to read it out first. All right, here we go. My Scoops AFLW Round 1 Team of the Week. Very, very hard to pick this. From the back line, Charlie Thomas and Paige Trungeon. Half back line, the flankers, Nicola Barr and Blathan Mackin. Centre half back, Brenna Tarrant. Wingers, Aisling McCarthy and Shanae Goody. Centre woman, Eliza West. Half forward line, the flankers, Jess Hosking and Ella Roberts. Centre half forward, Zali Goldsworthy. Forward line, Anya Ty and Jessie Wardlaw. Ruck, Sabrina Frederick. Rovers, Mon Conti and Kate Hall. Interchange, Elise Parker, Caitlin Surhoy, Georgia Nansquan, Eliza McNamara, and Ash Riddell. Now, the long 17-person list of emergencies. Molly McDonald, Sophia Hurley, Ali Blackburn, Liv Vesely, Laura Gardner, Britt Benici, Alicia O'Dowd, Mim Strom, Charlie Rowbottom, Amy McDonald, Zali Friswell, Jess Allen, Ebony Marinoff, Abby McKay, Ellie Anderson, Elise O'Loughlin, and Jazz Garner. Now, I know you're probably wondering you've almost named another team. And to be honest, there's more players I could have put on this list. But here it is. I just want to give you a guide to kind of show you all how hard it was to pick this team. I mean, you want reasons, and reasons I'll give you. Sinead Goody, congratulations, who is the round 1 AFLW Rising Star nomination, who was my prediction to win the whole damn thing. She's named on the wing here. She kicked 1 goal, 15 disposals. But she just had a really, really strong game. If you look at the stats properly, she was probably the best player in her first ever game of AFLW, official AFLW game. She had 15 disposals, 1 goal, 4 tackles, 6 inside 50s, 4 score involvements, and 5 intercept possessions. To me, that is worthy of a team of the week. And really, she's a key contributor to how the Power almost won that game against the Crows. Charlie Thomas had 24 disposals, had like 9 intercept possessions, maybe 11. Can't remember off the top of my head. But yeah, an amazing game from Charlie Thomas, who is in my most improved players predictions for this year. She started terrific. Paige Trudgeon, her Saints AFLW debut, she had 11 intercept possessions, or 13 maybe, with 14 disposals, so she deserved it. Nicola Barr had 28 disposals. Brenda Tarrant had 15 disposals, but with like 13 intercept possessions. BT, great player, and deserves a spot on the team. Blathan Mackham had 24 disposals, deserved it. Aisling McCarthy kicked 2 goals, 2 with 28 disposals, and a bunch of other tackles and marks, etc. Eliza West, I told you all she will probably be the most improved player this season, and she started terrifically on the weekend with 31 disposals and like 20 contested possessions. So she's a star in the making, and Melbourne rue the day they let Eliza West go and dropped her for that semi-final. That was a bad move, and to this day, I will stick by that. And she proved Melbourne wrong by letting her go from that final, and then obviously she explored her option to the Hawks. I mentioned Goody already. Jess Hosking, 2 goals. Was awesome in particular in the first quarter. Kicked 2 goals, had like 7 touches in the first quarter, and a big reason why the Eagles won in the end. Anya Tai kicked 4. Zali Goldsworthy kicked 4 with 17 disposals. She shows why she's my favourite to win the Scoops medal and the AFLW MVP Best Player for the year. Ella Roberts, she was awesome, had over 20 touches herself. Key contributor with Charlie Thomas and Jess Hosking as to why they beat Richmond. Anya Tai kicked 4. Jessie Warlaw kicked 2. 17 disposals, like 8 marks. So many of those contested. She deserved a spot, did Jessie Warlaw. Sabrina Frederick played against Ali Morford, who I feel is the best young ruck in the competition and the best ruck in the competition. And, I mean, she didn't play a lot of game time, Morph. She played 55% game time, which is unusual for her, but she hasn't played a game all preseason due to a wrist injury. But, Sabrina Frederick, credit where credit is due. She had over 20 disposals, had like 25 hit-outs, and she just tried. She was battling at the end. You could see she was injured or, out of breath, and she was just competing very hard. That's credit to her for a great effort. Mon Conti, 31 disposals, the best player in the competition, you would think. It's up for debate, but I had her at number 1 in my best 20 players going up to this season. That is on the Facebook and Insta page. If you haven't checked it out, go and do so. Would greatly appreciate it. Kate Hoare kicked 3, like 24 disposals was a lock. Playing more midfield this time, and 2 of those 3 goals she kicked while playing through the midfield. And she helped the Demons come home at the end. Elise Parker had like 28 disposals for the Giants, was really good. Caitlin Surhoy, very similar to Sinead Goody, at like 14 disposals. She was just very clean of her disposal. And a lot of these players on the bench, on the emergencies that didn't make it, they had high impact disposals and stuff. I just thought Caitlin was very, very efficient with her disposals against the Bulldogs for the Giants. And in her debut as well, it was just great to see her do what she does best, and that's dominate on a footy field. Georgia Nansquan had an insane amount of disposals and clearances. I think it was like 13 clearances, like 20 contested possessions, and had like 25 disposals or something overall. Really, really strong throughout the whole game. The Essendon side were terrible, but she was the only one that could hold her head up high. She was not only good, she was very, very good. Really hard not to put her on the field. which just shows how strong the players on the field have been. Eliza McNamara was really, really dominant on the wing with 22 disposals, and it was just very, very good. I mean, again, like Georgia Nansquan, she deserved a spot in the field, but then again, with 2 less spots, with how they do it with best 21, it was just really hard to put them on. But bloody hell, she was very good as well. And Ash Riddell, talk about very good, high efficiency, 31 disposals, a goal, 3 goal assists, 11 score involvements. It's just so harsh to not have her on the field. But those midfielders, 3 goals and 24 for Kate Hall. Mon Conti kicked a goal in 31. Eliza West at 30 with 20 contested possessions and a bunch of score involvements and clearances. So, and Ashley McCarthy, 2 goals, 28 disposals. So it was just very, very hard to include Ash Riddell on the field as well. So great depth and showing the competition how strong it is and how stronger it will continue to get. And it's great to see. And all the emergencies, I know I named 17 players, but just without going through individual stats in depth, but Alicia O'Dade, first game, the goal of the year contender already. In her first ruck contest, she didn't win the ruck tap, but she got the ball, got the handball out, and then she got it back. And then she ran the whole way almost to about 35 out directly in front from the centre square, if you don't mind. What a great debut goal and great debut play as well. In the first 16 seconds of the game, or 15 seconds, and it's a record now in the AFLW, beating Danielle Ponte's record. It was just great to see her do well. Mim Strom and Jess Allen, both rucks for Freo and then Adelaide, respectively. They were very dominant against their opposition. But again, unfortunately, I couldn't include them in the team. Sophia Hurley falls in the same bracket as Shanae Goody and Caitlin Surhoy. Was really efficient with her 15-odd disposals, but I just couldn't include her in as well. There's so many insanely good performances that were ahead. Charlie Robot, 28 disposals, 11 tackles. She was stiff to miss it as well. She was Gold Coast best player where the Saints smashed them. Amy McDonald had 28 disposals. It was just harsh not to get in. Zali Friswell, Eliza McNamara, 20 disposals on the wing. Was playing around the ground as well. It was really between Zali and Eliza, and I went with Eliza, but bloody hell, any other week Zali would get in. Ebony Marinoff had 29 disposals, 11 tackles. Harsh. Abby McKay, 32. Ali Anderson kicked a goal and 27, a lot of contested possessions and clearances. Alice O'Loughlin kicked 2 goals, 1 with 19 disposals up forward. Was definitely the next forward to be chosen. And Liv Vesely may have only had 18 disposals, but Goody and Caitlin Zerhoy was very, very dominant. Kicked a goal, had 18 touches and 9 tackles. So you really deserved to get in. But Molly McDonald, basically the same numbers, 18 disposals and 6 marks as well. Really good drive off the wing was Molly McDonald for the Saints and Liv Vesely through the midfield for the Saints. Laura Garner had 31 disposals. It's just very harsh. Ali Blackburn had 22 contested possessions of her 28 disposals and high efficiency. So it's just really, really hard to pick this team. But, unfortunately, players have to miss out, and that's what I've done. Jazz Garner, finally, since I mentioned everyone else here, Jazz Garner had 29 disposals. I think her efficiency probably costed her a spot in this team. But then again, Riddell, McCarthy, West, Conti, Kate Hall, and then Eliza McNamara, Ash Riddell, Georgia Nansquan, Ellis Parker. The midfielders ahead of her and Caitlin Zerhoy to a degree as well. That's my AFLW team of the week. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on it. I think it's a really bloody strong side, and I easily could have named another team. So, yeah, that's what it is. All right. Now, let's make sure I put the right banner up. Okay. Now, that's my AFLW team of the week. Now, before I get into reviewing and previewing the games just gone and upcoming, I'm going to go through my AFLW fantasy team, but I want to reveal my AFLW fantasy team. So going into round 1, this is the team I had going into round 1. I scored 1,070. Now, what's a good score for AFLW fantasy, considering it's different to the men's one? There's less players to pick from. I would say if you got what I got, you'd be happy with it. But you probably want to get So if you want to compare it to AFL Supercoach, I would say 1,000 is like getting 2,000. And I'll say if you get 1,200, it's like getting 2,200. So you keep building it up from there. So I mean, I'm relatively content with that. I had some rookies score really low, unfortunately. I had some of the main players not do too well, but this is the team that I went in with heading into round 1. In the back line, I had Charlie Thomas, Ruby Schleiser, Emma O'Driscoll, Serene Watson, and Jazz Smith. On the bench, I had Dana Finn. In the midfield, I went in with Sinead Goody, Charlie Rowbottom, Mon Conti, Zali Goldsworthy, and Laura Gardner. My bench player was Piper Window. My foreline was Bonnie Toogood, who got injured, Kate Hoare, Christy Lee, Weston Turner, Michaela Porga, and Ruby Tripodi. On the bench was Annalie McKee. My utility bench was Lulu Beattie. So what I've done now, I've made some swaps. I put Dana Finn onto the backline field for Jazz Smith for now, but again, this could easily change. I've made the 2 trades. Bonnie Toogood is one I've taken out. I've gone for a semi-expensive forward option and traded a rookie player off the bench to get a rookie who scored really well. There's a bunch of them. It's a bit of a risk considering the rookie I brought in was more than the one I took out. Because of the money for Bonnie and the player I got for Bonnie, I kind of had that money, where I could do that. So it's all about making cash. It's always something going to be very important. Don't just pick the top price players. Like some players score really low. Now, what am I going to do with Ellie Morford? I don't know. I'm going to give her another week. She's got my Saints this week, so we'll see how she goes. Maybe she builds into it and she'll be back to it firing best game time-wise, like percentage of game time. She only played 55% on the weekend. So, kind of some slack there. First game back with 3 injuries as well. Never jump the gun after round 1. That's what I will say. Now, just because I'm making trades in round 1 doesn't mean I'm jumping the gun. Like, I'm not rage trading from my experienced players, premium players. It's more like with AFLW Fantasy, like AFL Fantasy, the prices change every week. So it's not like Supercoach where you have to play 3 games. So, I've got to try and bring in the right players and make sure I do it correctly. Because if you miss out on the rookies, you're screwed. You basically get them the week they're doing well. And for rookies that are doing bad, you probably have to get rid of them, especially if they go really bad. So that's what you'll have to ponder. But will I bring in Danielle Ponta? Get it? Am I going to ponder whether I bring in Danielle Ponta? There you go. I just thought of that off the cuff there, off the top of my head right there. But yeah, there we have it. There you heard it. Now, I have done 2 trades. Took out a premium, took out a rookie, brought in pretty much a premium and a rookie for the bench. But I'm not telling you who because I don't want to give away all my secrets. You'll find out the week after who I brought in. All right. Now, do I want to see who is leading the AFLW Fantasy Scoops League? I don't know if I do want to show you all, to be honest, who's leading, because it's only been 1 round. But I've been requested to the person who's in second place to mention it. So let me get it up for you all. In the Scoops League, if you want to join, please send me a message on Instagram, AFL Info Live, and I'll send you the code. Now, I have Sebastian on 1,237, but in second place, I have Graz on 1,217, who is 20 points behind the leader. Pete's in third, Dale's in fourth, and Jason's in fifth. If you want to join the league, as I said, send me a message, and I'll add you into the thing. So, how many people have got in here so far? Only 65 people are in here. Interesting. I could swear I had about 4 more than that. Don't know what happened there, but anyway, whatever. So, if you want to join it, please send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. But yeah, and we'll get it sorted and add you to the league. I don't have the code in front of me. I don't know why it doesn't say the code in front of me. I'm on the app. Maybe it's the app playing its mind games. Anyway, now congratulations to Shanae Goody, who won the round 1 Rising Star nomination. As I said, during the team of the week, she deserved it. I read off her stats earlier. 1 goal, 15 disposals, like 60s and 50s, 4 clearances, like 5 inside 50s, all those stats that I reeled off before. Shanae Goody, congratulations on being the round 1 AFLW Rising Star nomination. She'll probably win the whole damn thing. So let's see. All right, now, let's now go review the round 1 AFLW season games. Sydney 50, Collingwood 35. I feel like this was a great opening game. You know, Sydney started off hot. Collingwood took control in the second quarter. And then Sydney run rampant in the third quarter. Then the fourth quarter, they started to control the game. And then Collingwood just kept giving themselves opportunities, but they kept missing. Then they got no one to blame but themselves. And then Sydney went down the other end and scored a goal. So, you know, Chloe Malloy popped off for a couple of goals. Laura Garner was really good. Ali Morford, in the game time she played, was okay. Brenna Tarrant down in the back line was really good. Lucy McAvoy, a co-captain, did really well with Malloy. Sophia Hurley did well. Montana Beraldson, I thought, was really well. And, I mean, she's one of those players that could have been in that long list of emergencies. She was really dangerous up forward. Loves the goal celebration as well, I noticed. So, yeah. That's that game for the Pies. Britt Benici was really good, along with Sabrina Frederick. Right, the next game to go through was West Coast and Richmond. West Coast 40, Richmond 39. West Coast by a point. You know, West Coast had a 22-point lead. I thought, what is going on? And then Richmond, to their credit, didn't give up. Through Mon Conti, through Ali Dalloway, through Poppy Kelly. We're doing really well for them. Yeah, you know, it just happens. Right, let's now go through to some of the key contributors for both teams. Ella Roberts, Charlie Thomas for the Eagles. But yeah, then at the end, Kelly Gibson and Abigail Bushby. Abby Bushby has got to get a lot of credit for what she did. She could have blazed away. She really saw Kelly Gibson running into an open goal type direction. She kicked it really well. Didn't overkick it. Just smart thinking and decision maker, and did really well. And, you know, it just worked out really well for her. And it was just, you know, great to see her do very well in that moment. And Kelly Gibson could have ran into the open goal. There's been a minute to go when she marked it. You could say it's risky, but she's a smart operator. A veteran is Kelly Gibson, and she marked it and chewed up the 36. Not that I like that, but she did. And then it was 40 seconds to go, or so, 43, 34, something like that. And then Richmond did go inside 50 late. So, you know, credit to the Eagles and Abigail Bushby and Kelly Gibson, who did very, very well there. And that's, you know, a credit to them for doing so good in that moment. And the Eagles got a win in Daisy Pearce's first game as coach. But got to give a lot of credit to the players. You know, it's great for Daisy and everything like that, but like the players are the one that played it, right? Charlie Thomas, Ella Roberts got to get a huge amount of credit for that win. And in that last moment, Kelly Gibson and Abby Bushby have to get a lot of credit as well. That's where the praise should be mainly at. Let's go to the Saturday games. We'll start off with GWS and Bulldogs, 72-9. You know, very disappointing for the Bulldogs. We know it's an exploring year. It's a learning year. A lot of new players, like 4 new traded-in recruits, an injury replacement player. And they drafted like 5 youngsters: Grigg, Butterfin, Barwick, Westo Turner, as well as a few others. So, you know, it's an exploring year for them, but, you know, they'd be disappointed. Tam, the coach, wouldn't be happy with how they performed, particularly after quarter time. They were in it in the first quarter, and then after that, they got blown away. In particular, after half time, you know, Zali Goldsworthy took control in that third quarter, kicked 2 or 3 goals. Of her 4 goals in that quarter alone, Alicia O'Dade was really good in the ruck over Alice Edmonds, who, if you look at the stats, had really decent numbers, especially in the hitouts. But I thought Alicia O'Dade took the ruck battle to her side. Then the last quarter, Alice won the ruck battle because Alicia O'Dade was off the ground. But Alice is a good ruckman, and she'll bounce back, I'm sure. And she still did okay, to be fair. You know, the Bulldogs, Elaine Grigg in her first game showed a lot of tackling pressure, which is what she's known for, and that's what she's done. Had like 9 tackles. That's a credit to Griggy. You know, a lot of the players that just started off well, and like the team, they faded away. But Ali Blackburn was really good, as I mentioned earlier, like 28 disposals, like 20 contested possessions, like 9 clearances. So she did very, very well. But again, she needs the support, and that's what I keep saying, needs some support. Annalie McKee was really reasonable on her Bulldogs debut up forward. But yeah, Annalie McKee did really well on her Western Bulldogs debut and kicked a nice goal and kicked their only goal as well. All right, the next game to go through is Essendon 21, Freo 64. Freo by 43 points. You know, people are blaming having Amber Clark and Bonnie Toogood go out with knee injuries. Oh, sorry, knee injury for Bonnie Toogood, who unfortunately will miss 6 to 8 weeks. Lucky for her and the club and her fans and herself. It's only 6 to 8 weeks. Obviously, you don't want that at all. Wish Bonnie all the best, but at least not an ACL, which it could have been. And Nat Wood and the coaching crew, we're happy it's not that long as of what it could have been. Amber Clark unfortunately got a concussion, so she won't play this week and be back the week after, you would think, hopefully, all going well and going to plan. But yeah, it's 2 players that they lost, but that doesn't excuse the way they played. Their home ground, you know, their advantage, windy conditions, as it always is there. And I wouldn't know. I went to about 5 games there last year. I mean, you don't even have to go there to know, but I knew how it works, what side the wind's always blowing and everything like that. And Freo were just dominant. Aisling McCarthy, Dana East, Mim Strom in the ruck, Anya Tai up forward, just very, very dominant. Players just played their role, and Tanisha played a debut. Played probably 50% game time, which is great for her. Her story is great. Playing Coates League started this year. Played in some games there, then getting drafted as an injury replacement player, then making her debut in round 1. Congratulations to her on making her debut and having a reasonably solid outing, especially in the game time that she did play. And a tough ask against Essendon away from home. And it was a great win for them, and they'll be very happy with that. And I know they are, because I've seen them post about it. And rightfully so. They smashed Essendon, and they kicked goals against the breeze, something that Essendon couldn't do. And Freo were just very, very good, and they gave them the old heave-ho. Hayley Miller, stepped up without Kiara Bowers and Ange Sannett in that midfield. Hayley Miller's got a lot of pressure on her this year, being the other most recognisable ruckman. The most recognisable forward. The most recognisable midfielder. That's it, Scoops. Come on. That is available. I can't speak. What is going on lately? But you know what I mean. The best available midfielder. A lot of pressures on her. The captain as well. On top of that, Kiara Bowers, who had a child recently. Congratulations to Turbo. Her nickname is. Turbo. But yeah, congratulations to her. Now, the next game I'm going to go through, I believe it's my Saints. It is Gold Coast 20, St Kilda 74. What a win. What a win. 54 points against the Suns, a side who had 4th in my ladder prediction. The Saints who had 8th. This is a confidence-building win and going to the Swans. But the Saints do not let me down. They do it in the men's season as well, where they give you a huge win and you get your hopes up, and then they rip you straight down again the week after. Literally the week after most times, if not a few weeks after. Come on, Saints, you're back home. Don't get too complacent. Think it's going to happen. Sydney are a bloody good side as well, who I have 5th in my ladder predictions. They're the team on the rise for me again this year like they were last year. It's a great story, the Swans. But yeah, we'll get to that later. But this game, Charlie Roadbottom was really good for Gold Coast. But outside of that, no one else really did well. Maybe Lucy Single. And for the Saints, Jessie Warlaw, Liv Vesely, Molly McDonald, Renee Karras, who played for GWS, the ruck forward. Charlotte Simpson, debutante from the Geelong Falcons, 19 years of age. She did really well as well. But yeah, it was just great to see Jessie Warlaw, 2 goals, 17 disposals, like 9 marks, a few of those contestant. She's a beast, great mark, great player, and one St Kilda will want to be consistently good. Last year, she had really good moments in games. She did go quiet a little bit, but she'll back it up this year. I got the faith in Jessie Wardlaw to be up there in the Coleman race this season, and she kicked 2, so it's a good start. But yeah, Vesely, T. Smith are really, really good up in the midfield as well. All right. Next game, we got 40-42 Geelong Melbourne. Geelong had a lead for the first 2.5 quarters, but it was never a huge lead, but they just felt like they were in control. Then Melbourne, late in the third, through Kate Hall, kicked those 2 running goals through the midfield, burst out of the midfield, got them up and about. Sinead Goldrick got her first ever AFLW goal to one under Sinead Goldrick, the Irish woman. Then the last quarter, you saw Melissa Bannon have her moments. Eden Zanker kicked a goal, but it was Lily Myth and Eliza McNamara, Kate Hall, that did the work and got the job done. Lathan Mackin, Megan Fitzsimon Fitzy had a good game as well. Overall, they just had really, really strong contributors. And Geelong were left to a few, like, Amy McDonald, Zali Friswell, who had a really good game as well. But they were left to a few, and Melbourne had probably more contributors overall, and they really did deserve the win in the end. Confidence-building win, considering they lost Eliza West, who started for Hawthorn the day after. Madison Gay, who played for Essendon now. So, yeah. Now let's move on to the next game, which was Port Adelaide and Adelaide in the showdown. Port Adelaide didn't get disgraced, 35-49. As I said, for the Power, Sinead Goody was awesome. Best on ground for me for the Crows. For the Power, Sachi Syme was really good as well. But for Adelaide, it was Marinoff, it was Hatchard, it was Jess Allen. There were some names that did really well. But overall, the Crows wouldn't be too happy as they didn't dominate the Power like they did in the preseason game. Now let's move on to the Sunday games, which was Hawthorn and Carlton. For Carlton, to lose to that margin to Hawthorn. I mean, Hawthorn did smash Sydney in a preseason game, which was a real surprise, but 66-28, Hawthorn by 38. Carlton's performance was terrible from the start. They had the wind and they didn't take advantage of it. Hawthorn were dominant against the wind, with the wind. Casey Sheriff kicked 2 goals in the last quarter. The Sheriff is in town. Eliza West, 30 disposals, like 24 contestant, high clearances and score involvement. She's a star in the making. Star in the future, star right now. Scored over 100 fantasy as well, but she was good regardless of the fantasy score. But yeah, very, very good game from the Hawks. Anya McDonough, Kemp down in the back line. Just overall was good. Gilroy, Mattia Breed, Jazz Fleming played a role as well. So Anya McDonough, as I said, popped up for a few goals. So, yeah, credit to the Hawks for a great win in Carlton. Besides Abby McKay, the rest should be embarrassed for how the team performed. Speaking of embarrassed, the Brisbane Lions have been embarrassed in the grand final rematch at home at Brian Holmes Arena in Queensland, 34-78. North Melbourne by 44 points. Tripodi was really good. Riddell and Garner. Neve Martin popped up for a few goals. Overall, collectively, Alice O'Loughlin kicked a couple. So the Roos were just dominant from start to finish. The Lions should be really annoyed with how they went. But yeah, credit to the Roos in the grand final rematch to win by that margin away from home to get some form of revenge after last year's grand final disappointment. Just a credit to the Roos for bouncing back. And Brisbane will want that rematch very soon. They may well get that in this year's grand final again, if not in the start of the final series, if both make it. And the Roos definitely will if they continue to play like this. It's a scary thought, though. That's right. That's why they are my grand final prediction to make the grand final and win the premiership again. Well, not again, but win it. Now, let's go right into, that was reviewing the round 1 games. Should have changed it better. Now let's go preview the round 2 games. All right, so Friday twilight at the MCG, 4:30 Victorian time. It's the Western Bulldogs hosting Port Adelaide in the AFLW at the MCG. Yes, a curtain raising to the men's game. Western Bulldogs v Port. I want to give Bulldogs a chance in this one. Despite how they played against the Giants, I'm going to give them one more chance here. I'm going to tip the Bulldogs in this one by 1 point. I just feel like the occasion that men's team is playing after, they're going to have the crowd there. I feel like they're just going to be extra motivated to win. Teams always win in these motivation games of, hype up and everything like that. So I feel like the Bulldogs will win by 1 point. But this could go either way. Now, on Saturday at 11:05 at Casey Fields, it is Melbourne hosting Brisbane. I'll be tipping Brisbane in this one, despite how bad they played on the weekend. I'm going to tip Brisbane by 2 points. Collingwood and Hawthorn, 1:05 at Vic Park, Victorian time. I've got the Hawks to win this one by 15 points. Next game, 1:05 as well. In Perth, 1:05 Vic time. It's West Coast hosting Essendon at Mineral Resources Park. I'll be tipping West Coast in this one. Would you believe it? West Coast in this one by 1 point. Nah, I'm kidding. Essendon by 5 points. All right, the next game, Sunday, 1:05 at Great Barrier Reef Arena in Mackay. Gold Coast hosting Carlton at 1:05 p.m. Fun fact, Abby Mackay plays for Carlton. This game has been played in Mackay. There you go. In saying all that, I'll be tipping Gold Coast in this one by 22 points to bounce back after their bad performance against my Saints. Sunday, 1:05 at the Punt Road Oval. It is Richmond hosting GWS. I'll be tipping Richmond in this one to win by 12 points. 3:05 at Arden Street at North Melbourne's home ground, training ground. 3:05 p.m. on Sunday, it's North Melbourne hosting Geelong. I'll be tipping North Melbourne in this one by 12 points. 3:05 p.m. at RSEA Park Moorabbin, the home of the St Kilda Football Club. Sunday, 3:05 p.m. Saints Swans. This is going to be a great contest. I'm tipping the Swans in this one by 10 points. Now, I tipped against Saints last week, and I was shocked. But the Swans are a bloody good side as well. So I would be shocked if we win this. But the way we beat Gold Coast, I don't know. Hopefully the Saints win this. But I'm tipping Sydney by 10 points. And the final game on Sunday to wrap up round 2 of the AFLW is Fremantle hosting Adelaide at Fremantle Oval in Perth. 5:05 Victorian time. I'll be tipping the Crows in this one by 22 points. My final thoughts are simply this. You want me on Cameo, head to cameo.com/Cooper G. You want me to roast a friend, wish them happy birthday, anything at all, cameo.com/Cooper G. Please smash the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. Want to aim for 20 likes for this video. And if you know any AFL, AFLW players, any up-and-coming draftees or any state league players, and you'd love to see them on the podcast in a Gold King Challenge or an interview, please do send me a message or try and get something sorted. AFL, AFLW, VFLW, Waffle W, Sample W, V for Waffle or Sample, or up-and-coming draftee, and you want to see them on the podcast in a goal kicking challenge or an interview, or both, please send me a message and try and get something sorted. Thank you all. Until the next video, take care. And the most important thing of all to remember is go the Saints. And of course, acknowledge me, the one. It's the Saints year. Come on, Saints. Let's go. Up to